Hi, good evening. And I'm so happy that all of you are with us tonight. My name is Tamara Carroll, and my show is called Life with Lipedema, Loved, Valued, and Treasured. Would love to have you join the conversation tonight. Come bringing your questions and drop in the comments and let me know where you're coming from, what country, what state. We really are a global organization, so it's always fun to see where everybody is popping in from. And also, let me know one fun thing that you did this week so far. I always look for the fun in life. It just makes me feel more grateful when I know that I'm having fun. So let me know just something fun that you have done. And if you're watching this on replay, please, feel free to pop in with all of those same conversations and questions with us. So I am so excited for my show tonight. And as always, I start with an inspiration. And this one is about healing. And it says, healing is a matter of time, but is sometimes also a matter of opportunity. And so I'm sure you're going to agree with me that we just have to always be looking, right? And being in the right place at the right time. And I really feel like tonight you're going to learn so much. And this is a great opportunity to really learn from my friend. And let me just tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Vanessa Green, and she and I have been friends since 2009. And we were in another business together and just had a heart connection with her. She's absolutely delightful. And we've just remained friends over the years. Hey, Vanessa, thanks for joining. And I'm so excited that you're here with us. And let me tell you a little bit about her. Vanessa is an avid student and teacher of holistic practices that support our bodies. She started learning about 15 years ago, so I think that's right about the time when we were together, and she's never looked back. And she is a graduate of the Institute of Nutritional Leadership, the Essential Oil Institute, and most recently, the School of Christian Health and Nutrition. So yay, I'm super excited to hear about everything you've been doing and the things you've learned. I grab my pen here.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for asking.
Yay. And you're from Indiana, correct?
Yes.
So, yay. And Vanessa, I know tonight we're going to be talking about essential oils, but I know that you are a wealth of information, so we may even have you come back later in the year if you're willing. But, I just want to share, I've been using essential oils myself for a long time. I think you introduced them to me many, many years ago. You should see my my bathroom cabinet. I even have them alphabetized. You probably do too. And labeled, this one's for my tummy, or, this one's for sleep, or this one's for breathing. And I have a little mixture of one that I use every day as my secret before I do my my show with y'all. It helps me kind of calm my nerves. And so I put a little on my wrist, and I keep one in my purse and one with me. So whenever I get a little, I don't like to say anxious, I just call it excited, a little too excited, but I'll put a little bit of that on, and it just helps me just to, calm my nerves just a bit. So, if you don't mind, can you just share a little bit about your journey coming into the health and wellness kind of field? How did you happen to do that? And maybe just touch on a little bit of your own health journey, anything that you'd like to share on that?
Sure. Again, I just want to say thank you so much. I feel so honored that you invited me on here, and I hope I do you justice. And I hope that people are able to glean from this, and that it helps at least one person. So let's see. So growing up, my mom was always kind of sickly, and she was older. She was an older mom. She had me when she was 40. So I was an oopsie baby, but she always said I was a blessing. I helped to keep her young, and she lived to be 90 and a half years old. And so it was, when I was younger, I never would have guessed. But just seeing her as I grew up and always kind of being worried, and how sickly and how many medications she was on and all the things. And then fast forward, I'm an adult and I developed my own thyroid issues. But I always kind of had an aversion to medicines. I don't know. It was just something in me. I mean, I don't remember ever having a conscious, thought. And I'm not against medications. I just want to put that out there right now. I think there's a time and a place, but I do think we're kind of over medicated as a American society. Anyway, so a friend introduced me to the oils and I didn't get it. She kept trying to get me to try it. She knew I liked natural things. She knew I was trying to reduce toxins and empty my life of anything synthetic. And she kept trying to get me to try these oils. And finally I said, okay, I'm going to try it. And I think I watched some videos and I was very intrigued at what I was learning because I just thought they were smelly goods. I thought they were like a candle or something that, how can smelling something help my thyroid or, help me get rid of some head tension, or I just didn't get it. So then I did. And then there was, like I said, no going back. And then that just, it just cascaded from there, then, I mean, you just learn about everything, how important gut health is and, just how supporting your body. My biggest thing is that I want people to try to employ with your health. Don't wait to be reactive. And I know, unfortunately for some of us, that's just the way it's kind of ended up. We've only come to these alternative methods because we've tried everything else and we've unfortunately lived lifestyles and, things that have caused problems in our lives. And so then we're reactive. So if I could say anything, especially to the younger ones out there, please be proactive. Try to, support your body as best you can while it's still doing the right things. But anyway, I just have a passion for all of it. I'm a skeptic by nature. Like I said, I have to always do a lot of research, and I don't just believe something because I heard it one time. I have to listen and listen and listen. And so I like to dive in.
Very good. Thank you. And then I know we talked a little bit about safety of using oils that maybe are not the best quality. Could you maybe speak on that for a minute?
Yeah, that's very important. Selecting the right quality of oil. When I started back in 2014 or so, like I said, I hadn't really heard of them. I didn't understand how it can work. But these days, you go to Target, you go to Home Depot, there's essential oils in there. And, they're not all created equal. That's one thing I'll say. The ones you can get on the internet, just know, first of all, they're not all created equal. Some things that you want to look for. And I will just say that I'm fond of the doTERRA brand, and there's lots of reasons why. But there are other good brands out there. I'll say that. I mean, I'm not going to say they're the end all be all, but I do trust them, and I've been using them, like I said, since 2014. I've never had an issue. I've used them with newborn babies and, my elderly mother. And so I feel very confident with using them. One thing you want to look for, they should always be in a dark bottle, and that protects the properties. There could be like a dark blue or dark brown, but you want to make sure they're in a dark bottle because light can change the chemistry. So you don't ever want to put them up in your windowsill or leave them in your car. Heat can also degrade the oils. They still may smell the same, have the same aroma, but it can change the property and the chemicals, makeup of that oil. And so it may not be as potent. So you want it to be potent. So dark bottles, you want them to, which all of ours are switching to. Safety caps are kind of important, especially for certain ones. You do want to keep them up out of the reach of your little ones. They're safe, but all things in moderation. You don't want to drink a whole bottle of essential oil. That's a no-no. You also want it to have the name of the plant. So this is tea tree, which it's backwards, but you get the picture. This is tea tree oil, but it says Melaleuca alternifolia, whatever. So it has the actual plant name. So that's one thing you want to look for. The doTERRA oils, they're actually safe, some of them. Now, tea tree is not. So it does not have a supplement, I don't know what you call it, supplement facts. So if it's good for internal use, your bottle will say so. So whatever brand you're using, because we'll get into this too, but you can use them topically, aromatically, or internally. So as long as they have a supplemental fact section where it says supplemental facts, and it'll tell you serving size is 1 drop. And it tells you, the oils. This is actually a blend. So it tells you the oils that are in this blend. And you just want to see the plant. I've seen some, especially like with lavender, and it'll say linalool. Well, linalool is a component in lavender, but if that's on the list of ingredients, then that tells me they've added that. So they've added a synthetic, because that's one of the problems. Your oils out there, they can get adulterated, which means they can, a carrier oil might be added to it. So it's kind of watered down, which that's okay in some instances, as long as it says that. But there's companies do all kinds of things to save money, unfortunately, and to cut corners. And with the essential oil market the way it is, it's huge now. And, there are companies, I think, that have led the way. And there are copycat companies out there who want to say, well, we're just as good as this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, so safety, if you're a beginner, I would say always dilute. Just until you learn about the differences in the oils, always dilute. So you want to use a carrier oil, something like a fractionated coconut oil. You could use olive oil, anything like vegetable based, but olive oil is pretty thick. Where fractionated coconut oil isn't as greasy, and it does soak in a little bit quicker.
And fractionated means that it doesn't get solid, correct? Is that right?
Yes. They've taken out a chain. So if I understand it correctly, they're like, you have medium chain fatty acids, long chain fatty acids, and somehow they can take out a chain to where it doesn't solidify. If you want to I've used solid coconut oil because I have that up in my kitchen and in my bathroom. So, I mean, you put a little bit in your hand and it melts right away. So then, you can then put a drop of your essential oil. The other thing is you just need a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. These are highly, highly concentrated. So for instance, for lavender, it takes about 30 pounds of lavender plant to make 1 bottle of lavender essential oil, pure lavender essential oil. So they're very potent. I've heard it say that like 1 drop of peppermint oil is the equivalent of like 20 cups of peppermint tea.
Wow.
So yeah. So that's a good thing. I know a lot of people are into herbs and use different herbs for different things, which we should try to get as many plants. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not against vegetarians, but we should try to get as many plants into our, I'll say, diet. But using essential oils is another way to get those plant compounds. You don't just have to eat them. If you rub them on your skin, what do we know about our skin? Our skin absorbs everything and it goes right in. So whether that's a nasty, smelly lotion, chemically enhanced, or it's a nice, essential oil, it's going to go right into your skin. And so it's going to absorb there.
And I know I've used some of the essential oils before making a salad dressing. And
yeah, absolutely. You can cook with them. We actually have some that are blends that are made just for cooking. So that's kind of the nice thing. They're easier to keep on hand. I know that I, have bought basil or thyme or oregano and had it in the fridge, and I don't use it quick enough and it molds, and it's like, well, I just wasted, but then I can go. But I will say this, if you do cook with your essential oils, you want to just maybe take a toothpick and then put it down in the hole and just barely get a little bit, and then stir that toothpick into what you're doing. You don't want to just do this because I did that one time with lemongrass. I wanted to make like lemongrass chicken or something.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's all we tasted was the lemongrass. It was I think I put like 2 drops thinking that's not very much, so you live and you learn and it's all good. So there's that. Okay. What else with safety? Okay. Another big safety is citrus oils. Any type of citrus oil on your skin, you want to be careful in the sun. You should actually not rub yourself down with citrus oils and go out in the sun. They are what they call photosensitive. So it kind of enhances. Think about this, Tammy. Did you ever put lemon juice in your hair or back in the day, the
hair in the summer?
Sun in, and what did that do? That lightened your hair. So lemon juice, it had, and same thing with the lemon oil, which actually comes from the rind. All citrus oils, and I hope people are taking notes because I feel like I'm just.
That's okay. We'll have a replay too.
Okay. Citrus oils, the oil comes from the rind. So the rinds are cold pressed. And then, those little sacks, you've peeled an orange before and it's like, got me. Those little bitty round, that's where the essential oils are. Essential oils to plants kind of do what they do for us. They protect from bugs. They help to heal the plant. If it, gets a cut or something, they help to heal it. They help protect from invaders. They help to protect if there are other plants. I read this the other day. If there are plants growing that are kind of infringing on certain plants and they don't want that, but somehow they can use their essential oils to kind of get those other plants. I mean, it's just kind of amazing to me. All the different things.
Amazing.
So, yeah, just ask. I think it was the other day I asked ChatGPT, what do essential oils do for plants? Because all of a sudden that just kind of hit me, like, well, which I kind of knew most of it already, but I just wanted to see what ChatGPT would say. But anyway, it was very interesting. I didn't know that part. Let's see what else for safety. Just dilution is the biggest thing, especially like cinnamon, oregano. Those are considered hot oils. So you want to be careful not to ever put essential oils in any orifice.
I made a mistake one time. I had a really bad earache and I was with a mutual friend and she gave me some frankincense and I just put some in my ear. And I was at a workshop with her and all of a sudden I was just like,
yeah.
Are you okay? Hot.
Yes. So, okay, if that happens, if you get some essential oil on you anywhere, immediately get a carrier oil, olive oil, vegetable oil, whatever you got handy, grab some of that and rub that on. And that will, I don't know about how you're going to do that in your ear, maybe get a Q-tip with some carrier oil.
Yeah.
And then that helps to, it's like, think about this. 1 drop of essential oil is kind of like wearing a stiletto heel. And if you wear that heel on a soft floor, you make a little dent in it. Not that it's making a dent, but my point is it's concentrated in that one spot. So if you put a carrier oil on it, it spreads it out over a bigger surface. It's still the same amount of oil. It's just not concentrated in one spot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be as uncomfortable. So there are many oils that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, bless my poor son. When he was little, that's when I was first starting to learn about essential oils and how you could fight colds and everything. And I was having him put we all did, under our tongue. What was that one?
Oregano. Oregano. Oh, yeah. Wow.
And I swear to this day, that's why he's so strong, because I'm sure I traumatized the poor boy,
That'll make you tough. It'll grow hair on your chest. It will. Yeah. Oregano is good.
And
but
then
you know
now
what?
they have the gel caps that you can.
Yes. Okay. I was going to mention that. Yeah. The empty veggie caps, and you can make your own capsules.
Yeah.
But yeah, oregano it's the big gun, and it kills a lot of things. I remember the only bottle of oil I've ever broken, we have a tile floor up in our kitchen, and all these years I've only broken one bottle, and it was a bottle of oregano.
Okay.
Luckily it was in my kitchen, but I kid you not, I was kind of starting to feel like I was getting something, but by the time I cleaned all that up and the next day, I was fine. Whatever was coming on me went away.
Yeah.
I was immersed
Wow.
in oregano oil. But yeah, it's a strong one. It's a good one to have on hand. That's the other thing I like to encourage people. Start a collection so you have them. Keep them in a place out of the sun. These are going to last you for years. I mean, they've opened up tombs of ancient Egyptians and found essential oils, you know, and they still had an aroma to them. You know, I don't know that they would have done any good to help, you know, with anything in your body, but they still had smell. So they will. Now the FDA does require that there are what's that word? Expiration dates. That's just because it's required. But you know,
I don't think, yeah.
Good
quality ones. You don't have to worry about it.
Keeping them in, keeping the lids on tight. If you leave the lids off, they will, you know, evaporate. They're aromatic. They're volatile aromatic compounds, and they're going to diffuse into the air, and you know they will eventually evaporate if you just leave the lid off. So
Kathleen has a question. She says, does oregano kill fungus? Do you happen to know?
Yeah, so it's antifungal, it's anti everything. Okay, so here's another tip I want everybody. Find a good book. If you have some quality essential oils and a good reference book, you're good to go. This is called The Essential Life. I like this one. There's also another I can't think of the name of it. I'll let people know. There's another book too. But what is nice is you can look up each oil and it will tell you the constituents and tell you what it is good for. This isn't necessarily brand specific. This doesn't list brands, but I will tell you that it does list for some of these oils for internal use. So you do want to make sure that if you use internally, you have a brand that is directed that way. I can't stress that enough. Don't just think you can go to Target and buy some oregano oil and that you can take that internally. It may say 100% pure, and then it'll say do not only for aromatic use. And so that's like, okay, well, I think if a company says that you can take it internally, they are very confident in their product. That's all I'm going to say about that. So oregano is antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitic, antiviral, and it's an immunostimulant. So oregano is a really good one to have on hand to maybe have in your medicine cabinet. And
great. Good deal. Thank you.
Yeah.
And hi, Carrie. Thanks for joining. And Kate and the others. Thank you for joining. I want to shift a little bit more specific now to our community. And many of the ladies in our community have issues with lymphatic. And so I was just wondering, do you have any oils that you could recommend that might help for circulation or you know, like sometimes people that have lipedema also have lymphedema.
Yes.
So then we get the swelling, you know, the inflammation really bad, the swelling in the feet and whatnot. So do you have anything that you could recommend for that purpose?
Yes. Before I go into that, I do want to say there's always more than one. There's always more than one oil. And again, a good reference book is going to help you to know the different ones. And I'm just going to name a few, but I guarantee there's going to be, 10 more. But what I wanted to bring up was a lot of people maybe associate lavender with sleep and calm. I have a friend who it wakes her up. So just because you try an oil and it doesn't necessarily help you with what you were thinking that it might, don't give up. Try another oil. The other thing, real quick, before I go into the specific oils, let's say you do have something that you're wanting some help with, some head tension. You know, it's been a bad day and you're just like, oh, and you put a little bit of, let's just say, I don't know, lemon oil, you know, because you don't know what to use for what. And that doesn't necessarily probably help what you wanted it to help with. You don't have to wait 6 or 8 hours. You're like, oh, maybe I should have used frankincense or peppermint, and that would be a better choice. Then go get, you know, you don't have to wait to try some other oils. So that's why it's nice that you can. In fact, they do metabolize kind of quickly, and they do work through your system. So if there's one downside to oils, you need to use them frequently. If you're actively trying to tackle something, you know, if you're just using it proactively once or twice a day, morning and bedtime, but if you're actively trying to tackle something, whatever that is, maybe every 3 hours, you know, you have to be consistent and keep it in your system. Okay. So my first oil that comes to mind is cypress. It's actually called the oil of flow. So, and if you think of anything that's flowing in your body that you want help with, whether it's to slow it down or speed it up, that's another thing. These are just beautiful in that, well, first of all, I mean, obviously I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian health practitioner. I believe that God created the plants. He created us. He created the plants for us. He said, you know, eat of everything in the garden. So they work synergistically. Our bodies know what to do with these. You know, you take certain drugs of whatever, over the counter, anything, and it's going to maybe have a side effect. It's going to have this because our body doesn't really know what to do with it. And it just causes an extra issue, you know, and it's usually just treating a symptom anyway. But anyway, so cypress oil, and a neat way that you could use it. Sorry, I don't know if any of your viewers are familiar with dry brushing, but you could maybe put a drop of the cypress oil in the palm of your hand and then get it on your brush, and then you can brush. And you always want to, and it is dry brushing, you don't want to get it wet. You don't want to use your dry brush in the shower. It's dry brushing for a reason, but you would brush everywhere, and you always go towards your heart because that helps the lymph. That's the natural way that the lymphatic fluids flow, is towards your heart. So if you do your arms, you're going to go this way. If you're going to do your legs, you're going to always brush up, you know, and even on your abdomen, you're going to brush up. On your neck, you would brush down. There are different shapes and sizes of dry brushes. Sorry. This one is like for your face. That's like a beauty thing. I bought it and I've never used it. I saw something one time and I was going to start using it on my face, and I've yet to do that. No. But anyway, so dry brushing is a good way. You can add it to your lotion, or like just some coconut oil if that's, you know, I know a lot of people use beef tallow now, like rendered beef tallow for their skin. Just add a drop to that, rub it in, you know, and rub it all over. Just always, like I said, go towards your heart, and that's going to help with that flow. So cypress oil, frankincense, that's a really good one for inflammation. Another one, this is this one is doTERRA specific because it's a special blend, and it's called DDR Prime. And in this oil, this is also one that's good for internal use. It is a blend of oils, which means it's made up of, you know, more than one essential oil. It has, let me get my bifocals going here. DDR Prime. It is frankincense, wild orange, litsea, thyme, clove bud, summer savory, nioli, and lemongrass. So I think I said that right. Nioli, yeah. So it's a really good, it's just an amazing oil, especially for inflammation. And that would also help with lymphatic flow.
Wow.
It comes also, doTERRA, it comes in capsules. Like they have a lot of their oils that are in like what are called these soft gels. So this one is the oil that's called copaiba, but it comes in a little, so they already put them nice for you to, conveniently in the capsules for you to take internally. Or like we talked about, you can buy just the plain capsules. I should have opened this.
Eyedropper.
And then you can, drop some 1-2 drops in, and you can put some carrier oil with it and then take it internally. But the DDR Prime is a really good one. And a lot of times too, the biggest bang for your buck are the blends, because you're getting a nice bouquet. You're not just getting one constituent. You're getting, and doTERRA has some amazing scientists and a research department who put these together. Not honestly, some of these oils do not smell well. They're not necessarily for your aromatic enjoyment. Therefore, to help with all sorts of things. So DDR Prime, let's see, I said Cypress, DDR Prime. And did you ask, I'm sorry, did you ask me specifically for inflammation or lymphatic flow?
Both.
Both, okay. Okay, so Deep Blue. Deep Blue is another blend, and it's also like for pain and discomfort. It comes in a wide variety of, you can get just the oil. This is one of the ones that has a safety cap. You can get it in this like roller ball. Quick note, when you get when you do get a roller ball, you want to make sure it's a metal roller ball. I don't even know if you can get plastics anymore. They would have plastic roller bottles years ago and different brands, and that after a while, oils do disintegrate plastics. So that's one thing to consider. They break down petrochemicals. That's another thing I'll mention. If you drink essential oils, like, if you put a little lemon in your water, you want to make sure it's in ceramic or glass or stainless steel. You never want to drink out of a plastic cup with essential oils, because it will degrade it. It just breaks it down. So you don't want to ingest the plastics. My favorite way for the Deep Blue is in this stick. It looks like a deodorant stick, and I use this every night on my ankle. I've got some soft tissue issues. I've sprained and twisted my ankle so much that it's always a little bit swollen, and it's always just a little bit sore. But I put this Deep Blue on there, and it really helps. It's kind of like an icy hot, where it's cooling. It's cool at first, and then it's warm. I didn't tell you the oils that are in Deep Blue. What did I do with them? You would think I would have it memerized after all these years. But I do.
So many.
So Deep Blue blend is made up of wintergreen, camphor, peppermint, ylang ylang, helichrysum, German chamomile, and osmanthus. Did I say blue tansy? It has blue tansy too. Anyway, this is really, really good for inflammation. It's good for inflammation and pain. And it takes, like, if you would use this on a daily basis, you will feel the results.
So I'm feeling like the ladies in my community here, many times at nighttime, our legs ache. And so I'm thinking that would be a really good one to.
It comes in a lotion. It comes in this stick. The lotion's okay, but then it's all over your hands. Don't rub your eyes. I mean, it's not going to make you be blind, but it's going to be a little uncomfortable for a few minutes. It comes in just the plain oil, or it comes in the, and again, this is a specific to doTERRA. There may be other, like if you wrote down the ingredients, there may be other oil companies that have something similar to this blend, but that's a really, really good blend for inflammation.
Well, that was great information on that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And like I said, there's probably more. I mean, there's just so many. There's kind of a little bit of if you think of, floral oils. They're going to always usually be good for skin, and for calming usually. or hormonal. Those are your floral type things like jasmine, rose, lavender. You know, those actually the lavender, it doesn't come from the flower, it comes from the stems. And then your wood oils like cedar wood, frankincense, my mind's gone blank. Anyway, the wood type of oils, Siberian fir, those are going to be like more for grounding, calming kind of. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of crossovers. I'll say that, a lot of crossovers.
So speaking on that, because this is another thing you mentioned grounding. Sometimes people that have chronic illness, you know, you go through a period where it's depressing or you have anxiety. And I know for myself, I have used peppermint and orange together on my hands, and I just inhale it, and that helps me focus. Like if I need to do something, I need to focus. And I'm a little ADHD myself. So, you know, something to help me focus. I love that combination. But speaking for the ladies who may be struggling a little bit emotionally, do you recommend anything for uplifting?
Yes. Okay. Great question. Excuse me. The first thing that comes to my mind are citrus oils. All citrus oils are beautiful, vibrant, and they're uplifting. I mean, if you put some wild orange, which wild orange and lemon, they are some of the least expensive oils. They can pack the biggest punch, and they are so uplifting. They just, I mean, if your house smells like a basket of oranges, I mean, you just can't help but smile. When we breathe in, the aroma goes through our nostrils and goes up to our olfactory bulb. And that is where, you know, our brain senses the smell. And then right behind our olfactory bulb is something called our limbic brain. And that is made up of, let me see if I can remember the three: the hippocampus, the amygdala, and something else. But those parts of the brain affect mood and memory. So doesn't it make sense? Like, how many times have you gone somewhere and you smell an aroma and you're like, oh my gosh, that smells like my grandma's house? Or, oh my gosh, and it brings back this flood of memories. It's because, I mean, it's your brain and how everything's situated. It makes sense. And we have to remember too, every time we breathe something in and we smell something and take something in, there's actually little bitty particles that are going up in and touching that olfactory bulb. And that can be a gross thought if you think no matter what you're sniffing and smelling, there's little bitty particles. So that's why it's very important. I'm sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but like all those plugins and all the synthetic fragrance. So that's one of the very first things I did. And I'm sorry, I'll get to the specific oils. One of the very first things I did when I was trying to, and as I learned about essential oils, I started getting rid of synthetic scents.
Right.
And so if you have anything in your house, anything, I mean, like from your laundry detergent to your moisturizer to your, well, I don't know if toothpaste has it, but obviously candles, your bathroom spray, it has the word fragrance, get rid of it. That word fragrance, they say it's a proprietary recipe that they do not have to disclose, but it could be made up of over like 300 to 3,000 different chemicals to make that scent. Fragrance is not a good thing. Fragrance is a bad mamma jamma. It disrupts your hormones. I mean, there's just so many bad things. So please, if you don't do anything else to clean up your environment, take fragrance out. And I mean, once you start looking for it, you're going to see that it's everywhere. It's in everything. And it makes it it clings on longer, you know, like your fabric softener and all that stuff. It's just there forever. Well, it's because they get these little hooks on. I mean, if you could see it, you know, with your naked eye, they actually have these little hooks, and they're these like oil-based, petroleum-based things that just hook onto your skin. Like they're hooked onto your clothes, but then think about it. You're wearing those clothes and that gets on your skin, and then it's just like a perpetual thing that it's always on you, and then it'll eventually get in you. And It's bad. Okay, sorry. I can't help but.
It's good. It's good
Okay,
information
so
though. But that's one of the things, that's why I bought diffusers and I got
yes,
rid of
yes,
all of the melts and all of
yes,
that kind of stuff
yes.
because
That was a
I want it
great thing.
clean. If I'm going to breathe it, I want it clean.
Yes, and there's a difference, don't you? Are you kind of a snob now when it comes to
Yes.
scent? Yes, and you can, once you start smelling and having the aroma of real things, you can fake stuff. It's just like, oh my gosh, that it just hits you right in the face. Okay, wild orange. Like I said, any of the citruses, bergamot or bergamot, depending on where you are from in the world. If you're French, you're going to say bergamot, but or bergamot. I'm sorry, I said it backwards. But anyway, so that it's kind of a fruit that's kind of looks like a big ugly cross between a lemon and an orange, and it is really really nice for mood help. In fact, I saw when I was looking in here earlier in my handy dandy book, down at the bottom, it actually talks about studies too. So, you know, science is catching on. I know doTERRA has a science department. There's actually a website. It's called Aromatic Science. I think it's just called aromaticscience.com. And you can look up study after study of just studies that are being done with essential oils. So that's pretty cool.
I do want to say though, while you're looking at that, is that be careful if you have pets, because I did put eucalyptus oil in my diffuser and it made my little dog have a seizure. So,
okay.
Yeah. So there are certain ones you don't want to have in a diffuser, you know, if you have a little animal around your house.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that too real quick. But yeah, down here at the bottom of the bergamot page, it references a study that says the essential oil of bergamot enhances the levels of amino acid neurotransmitters in the hippocampus. That's up there. So that is how it works to help change your mood. I mean, these are actual little chemicals, you know, that go into, these are chemicals, you know, not all chemicals are bad. Everything's, you know, made up of chemicals.
We have chemicals in us.
Yes, yes. So we can't always think of chemicals as bad, but bergamot, however you want to say it, it's a really good one. We also have a blend called Adaptive, and it's called the Calming Blend. So if you have maybe anxious feelings, maybe
I think that's what's in here. Because when I bought it, the lady didn't have any of the Adaptive and I wanted it. I was at a vendor event or something and I was out and she said, well, I can make you one. You know,
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That was very nice. So that's something else too. There's so many things. I could just go on and on. You can buy empty roller bottles, you know, several places online. doTERRA sells them, but there's oil supply companies out there who will sell all kinds of supply. I mean, like there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
But you can make your own roller bottles, or you can save once you've used some, then you can reuse them. Adaptive helped my mom. So Adaptive actually, they have some capsules that are pre-made, but this has some extra things that the essential oil doesn't have. This has GABA, and it has something called sclerium, and then an ahi flower. So it has extra things that the actual oil doesn't have, but it has the oil. Later in my mom, you know, a couple years before she passed, she got some really bad anxious feelings, anxiety, and that happens. I think that's not uncommon for older people to have that happen. But she went to the doctor actually, and he wanted to prescribe her Xanax. I think she got the prescription. She took one, but she just didn't like it. I don't know. She just said, I just can't. So then, you know, I had her take an Adaptive and a Copaiba. And that's all that helped her so much. She did not like to go without these. And it helped her to calm down. And I've got a story too, I just thought of. And I'm not usually one who is afraid of the dentist, but I was getting my metal amalgam fillings removed. And when they do that, they really I mean, there's a lot of safety precautions. They put goggles on you. They had like an oxygen breathing thing on my nose, so I didn't breathe in any of the the powder. Then they had the thing in my mouth to open it, and then they had like this rubber thing in the back. They call it a dam, so you don't swallow anything, but it's like, you're just. And then there's like two people over you, and we started, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I just started feeling panicky, and I've never ever ever had that before, and it was a scary thing. I was trying to, talk myself out of it. I was, praying, doing all these things. And I said, let me just sit up for a second. And I did. And then I said, okay, I think I'm okay. And I laid back. And nope. They started again. And anyway, then I remembered I had my adaptive in my purse. And I'm like, can I get something out of my purse, or can you hand me my purse? And I rubbed that on, took some deep breaths, and I was able to go on with the procedure. So it was just amazing of how much it helped me to do that.
That's so great. That's a great story. Thank you for all that.
Yeah.
I want to leave some time for questions. I did want it, if we could do it real quick. Do you have anything for sleep? Because many times people like me, we struggle with sleeping. Is there anything that just, because I want to leave time for questions.
Yeah, that's okay. We actually have a sleep system. I want to say this real quick too. I'm on here talking about essential oils. Essential oils are a tool in your toolbox. Hopefully you have a toolbox that is filled with all kinds of things. Hopefully you're having a diet that's made of real food. Hopefully you are reducing the toxins from your life. Hopefully you're getting sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning. That helps to set the melatonin for the end of the day. It's very important how God designed us, and we have these receptors all over. So making sure your circadian rhythm's good, not having too much blue light all throughout the day. I mean, not too much caffeine. I mean, there's so many things. So essential oils are not the end all be all. They can be a tool in your toolbox to help you. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm promoting the essential oils. I love the essential oils. They help with many things. In fact, I believe in the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, we can help our body and support without having to run to the doctor with all these tools that we have. And 20% of the time, though, we are going to need a doctor. If I break my arm, I'm not going to rub an essential oil on it expecting that it's going to heal overnight. So we have to have, some common sense with it. If I have a sinus infection, I may not run to the doctor right away. That's me. I'm going to do a lot of things before I end up, maybe having to have that antibiotic prescribed to me. That's like my last resort. But if I need to, I will. And I'm not opposed to it. Okay. I just wanted to say that. doTERRA's restful blend is called Serenity. So, I mean, there's a lot of things. A lot of people, frankincense helps them sleep. There's an oil called vetiver, and it comes from the root of this grass. It shuts my brain off. I love it, but it also smells good. I use it as one of my I use this every morning on my wrists in this rollerball form because I just love the way it smells. It's kind of got a musky, perfumey scent. I didn't like it at first. When I very first smelled it, I'm like, that smells like dirt. But I love the scent of vetiver now. It shuts my brain off. Like I said, lavender doesn't always help people. Roman chamomile is a good one to help with sleep. But anyway, doTERRA has actually this whole what they call sleep system. So they have the essential oil. So ideally, you would take a couple of the capsules, which have the Serenity blend in them, but this also has tart cherry. And if you look up research on tart cherry, that's very helpful. Yes.
Information.
Yes. And then it has L-theanine, and I think those are the only extra things. But they're just, the little type of a gel cap like this. So you're going to take 2 of those, maybe, a half hour or so before bed. And then in your bedroom, you might want to have Serenity diffusing. So it's kind of, getting in the air So you can breathe that in throughout the night. So you want to make sure you have a long range diffuser, like one that's going to go at least 10 hours, but it's, intermittent. It doesn't go continually for that long. And then they have the Serenity stick. So this is, again, it's like, the deodorant type stick, and you can, rub it here, rub it wherever, rub it. I like to rub it sometimes, and then also like rub it on my blanket a little bit. So when I'm up, I'm smelling it there. So
I'll put it on my pillow.
yeah, you could put it on your baby's feet, the bottoms of their feet, or down along their spine. So this is a really nice system. But plain old lavender might work for someone. Roman chamomile might work for someone. Vetiver, frankincense. There's probably others that I'm missing.
Thank you. Because you're not on Facebook, and if there's people who have more questions, how could they contact you? And maybe we can put your website up.
Yeah, so that right now, that's the way. There's a contact me page on my website, Higher Calling Health and Wellness. I do a lot more than just essential oils, but that's, like I said, that's just one tool in my toolbox that I love to teach others about. So yeah, you can contact me through my website. Thank you.
Yay. And then, gosh, there was so much information. Kathleen says, great information. She's going to re-listen. And there's several ladies saying, thank you for sharing your information. As we get ready to close up tonight, ladies, if you have any questions, pop them into the chat. We'll see if we have some time to discuss these, and if we don't, be sure and contact Vanessa through her website, and I know you're going to be very blessed by her. And so I always like to ask my guests, looking at the words loved, valued, and treasured, if you had to pick one of those words tonight, Vanessa, that resonates with you this evening, which word do you think that would be, and why?
Today, I mean, I would say from day to day that changes, but today, I'm feeling very loved. I was nervous. I was nervous, and I reached out to some of my friends and told them what I was doing today. And I said, could you just please pray for me? And, that I would help someone, that I would be calm and concise enough and not just ramble, not make any sense, all the things. And I can't tell you, I mean, I got so many messages of love and encouragement, and it just really touched my heart today. If I could tell anybody anything, I mean, find a community that you can be with that understands you. I think what you're doing, Tammy, is awesome. And I think you're doing a great work. And people are blessed to be in your community and to be around you. And I think that that what you're doing is great. And that if people, whatever that is, there's that saying, I can't think of it, something about your tribe. Your vibe will help you find your tribe. I don't know. There's something something like that. But it's true, and God didn't mean for us to be alone. He meant for us to be in community together, and that's beneficial for our health as well. Where to be isolated and alone is not a good thing. So find a community where you can feel loved, because that's how I feel today.
And that just answered my second question, was, using your word to speak a word of encouragement to the community. So it would be finding your community.
Yes.
So you could feel loved.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm just going to shift for just a minute with some announcements. And thank you again, Vanessa. That was just
it's my pleasure.
So much information. Thank you. And I love being with you, and we've been together in real life many times, and I've always loved you. And talking about your mom, I knew your mom, so I don't want to cry. I'm gonna move on.
It's okay.
So just wanted to let y'all know that we have a free webinar tomorrow Siobhan Higgins is going to be talking about, is surgery right for me, for lipedema surgery? Is it not? Is it good for you? So that's at 6 p.m. EST, and you can sign up for that webinar. And Siobhan is also another person who's very delightful, and I know that you'd all be blessed by her. And then we have our big conference. It's online, and it's called the Heart to Heart, and it is on April 25th to this 27th. It's a 3-day virtual event, and we're having doctors and specialists. We do 2 conferences a year, and one is more holistic based, and that'll be in fall. And this one is going to be very much about lipedema liposuction. So if this is something that you are interested in, or you just want to get some more information, or you just want to hang out with the tribe and learn more about lipedema, we're going to have speakers and doctors and patients, people that are in the community will be sharing, and I know that you'll be very blessed by it. So there's that link in the comments, and you can sign up for that. There's so much information on those. And then finally, my next show is going to be on Wednesday, April 23rd. I come the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of the month, and I will have my friend Sarah Tellis. So Kate, you know Sarah very well. And she's someone that I've worked with in the past, and she has a healing studio in my town. And she's going to be talking about how we can love ourselves more deeply. So I think that she will be a great addition. And I believe she's even working up an online program that you might be interested in. So be sure and mark that down on your calendar. And I hope you'll join us. Again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and I'll certainly do my best to get it to Vanessa, and she'll see it if she can see it on the YouTube or LinkedIn, maybe, I'm not sure, but contact her on her website. That's just the best way. Just go directly to her, and her link is in the website, or in the chat. So anywho, it's been lots of fun. Vanessa, I just want to tell you that you are truly loved. You are truly valued, and you're truly treasured. And I am just so, so very blessed to be able to call you, get emotional again, but to call you my friend, really call you my sister, really, really do. And, we've known each other for a really long time. So just thank you so much for joining us and blessing us with all of your knowledge. And I'm looking forward to having you back, if you will, sometime, maybe in fall. And we could go a little deeper in a different subject, maybe, because I know you have lots and lots of tools in your toolbox. And to our community, you too know that you are loved, and you are valued, and you are treasured. And I'll see you next time. Bye.